So, will the church be a different shape going forward? I really hope it will be a different shape. I hope that life in general will be different. For the last 10 weeks or so, we have all had time to take a step backwards from our usual, often frenetic lives. Although for many it has still been extremely busy, with working from home and also homeschooling, it has also given many of us an opportunity to really appraise how we live our lives. We have perhaps learnt what is important to us. And despite this horrible virus, so many good things have also happened. There are many things I have noticed, and within our church community, we have had groups who have been working to create scrubs for the staff in our hospitals. We have had people who have been offering to help others with shopping. People who have looked for ways to keep in touch with other people. There have been so many acts of kindness. Help has been given to those of us who were unsure how to do video recordings and then email them. Many of us have learnt new skills. I hope the kindness and consideration for others and the willingness to help others will continue when things get to the new normality. I hope we won't lose any new skills, because we need those skills and we need those attitudes for our church to survive and reach out to others. Before all this happened, many of us were happily worshipping and doing things in church in the same old ways that we had been doing them for many, many years. We didn't like change, and we worried about what change would mean. What demands would change make on us? We knew how we wanted things to be done, and we wanted our needs to be considered. Well, we've now had 10 weeks of change. Was it so awful? Oh yes, the reason for the enforced change was awful, but was the change itself awful? Yes, we miss not being able to receive communion. We miss not being able to meet together to worship. But we have had some wonderful services, and some of us have really enjoyed the new after church coffee times. Even when we do return to church, we may have to continue to social distance. We may not be able to use our books because it will be impossible to clean them afterwards. Was reading the words on the screen so awful? If we had screens in all our churches, there would be no problem if we could not use our books. When we sang our hymns, we were not always accompanied by an organ. Sometimes it was led by a group, either the piano or the organ, plus a violin and a double bass. We still sang our traditional hymns, it was just different. If people in our church communities have skills to play other instruments, why don't they join in and play? Being able to play an instrument or to sing is a gift. Should we not be encouraged to use our gifts to the glory of God? Music might also be a way into church for some people. If people felt that we valued their contribution and felt that there was something they could join in with, then maybe they might want to join us. When we watched the services, we weren't sitting in orderly rows in pews or in straight-back chairs. Did that really matter? Are the pews so important to your worship? Can you really, honestly tell me that you can only worship if you are sitting in an uncomfortable pew? Really? Maybe we all need to reconsider what is really important in our relationship with God. Our services have been reaching out to people beyond our usual church community. And this has happened because they have been on YouTube and so could be accessed very easily by people in their own homes. This means that we have been able to spread the word of God to more people. We have been able to try to do what Jesus told his disciples to do in today's gospel. That is, proclaim the good news. If people are housebound or sick, just think how wonderful it would be if they could always see the services from their church. Yes, I know we take communion to the sick, but if they can actually see the service, it would be so much more special. They would be able to feel that they had still worshipped with their community. I think we have begun to think more inclusively, and our services have been more inclusive because they have reached out to others beyond our usual congregations. You see, for some people, just walking through the church doors can be daunting, especially for that first time. But if people could see us worshipping first on a screen, it might make it easier and less daunting to actually cross the threshold and come and join us in a church. We have started to think about other people's needs and not just our needs. I do hope we will continue to do this. Our cosy little bubble has now been burst. Don't let us find another one. Let us continue to reach out to people and consider others, because it is only by considering the needs of others that we will draw them into a relationship with God. God is important in our lives. He wants to be important to other people as well. Let us help to make that happen. So, my big hope is that we will be able to learn to find a way to video our services so that others may be able to continue to join us in our worship and get to know God. Maybe one day they might feel they can actually take that important step of crossing the threshold and actually coming through the doors and into the church. I hope too that we will learn to be more open to change. The church will die if it remains locked in the past. Just think of the many, many changes that had to take place in order to get where we were before the lockdown. If we are to continue and thrive, we will have to learn to embrace change. I want to learn to be more open to change. I need to learn to make changes that will enhance my relationship with God and which may also help others to know God. Will you join me on what could be an exciting journey?